UGP. Now that we've broken the ice, I am host A, Evan.
And I'm host 1, Cole. Today, we're going to be talking about a little something I like to call Deus Ex.
Quite possibly my favorite game. Cole's too. Really good game. We're going to talk to you about some of the fundamentals of the game, but hopefully without spoiling anything.
We're definitely not going to spoil anything. That's for lame people. So, yeah, let's jump right in. First of all, if you don't know what Deus Ex is, go to YouTube, look up the Icarus trailer, and watch all of it. You will love it. I promise. If not, you're weird.
Yeah, you're not cool if you watch that and you're not instantly like, oh my god, this game looks just amazing.
I want sunglasses like those things, which we'll bring up later.
We will.
Okay. So, the game is set in 2077 in a futurish, in a future time where robotics and genetic modification has reached like a crucial point.
Yeah. Kind of like how when people get prosthetic limbs, in this game, their limbs are like robot limbs, but they meld with the tissue in humans, so it's like half robot arms.
Yeah, because it's like your neurons connect to the arms, so like it gives you feelings and sensations. So it's like I may have robot fingers, but if I touch this surface, I know what it feels like, even though I can't really feel it just because of the neurons connected to my shoulder.
Yeah, it basically replaces your arm with, they call them augmentations. So it basically replaces a human arm with an augmented arm, and people can do this, like, say, I'm in a horrifying car accident, and my arm gets just destroyed, it's broke, it's shattered.
Like blood and like...
Oh, yeah, spurting.
Anime style, it is bad.
Oh, yeah, like, they'll just be like, oh, okay, well, your insurance covers missing arms, so we'll just give you a new arm. Or if I'm like, oh god, I really wish I could punch through walls. I need super strength arms. I could be like, excuse me, if I pay you a large sum of money, will you give me new arms? And they'll give you new arms.
And then you can get all this cool stuff in it. Like you can say, oh, I want square sensor bar swords for no reason, but they look cool.
They look cool.
Yeah, and so you can be like, oh, you're in a fight, you're in a bar. It's like, back off, bro. I've got an arm sword.
Yeah, your broken bottle is nothing compared to the sensor bar sword, alright?
Yeah, you will get messed up. I don't know if we've decided if this is of a cursing heavy podcast. I think we should go on like the middle.
Yeah, I guess by the end of this podcast, we'll figure out whether it is a cursing podcast or not.
So, viewer beware. Also, this is the first time we've done this, so it's like, that if there's like a lack of professionalism between host 1 and host A, that would be why.
Yeah, and so please do not leave horrifying reviews just because we don't know what we're doing.
Or if you do, know that, you're a bitch.
Yeah, we do. You will be ignored.
You will be counted as the 1/4 of a person that any angry internet review counts as.
That's right.
However, if you give us a good review or you like it, you're completely a person. We trust you. You're not a bot.
In fact, if you meet us like outside, we will be your friend.
Yeah, we will befriend you, which will be hard to do just recognizing us by voice, but it might happen in like a year or two.
Might hear us at Walmart talking about like Fruit Loops and
Okay, back to the game.
Yes.
One of the really interesting things that game does is it really brings up that question of like technology versus humanity. Like for so long of the game, like that's the entire thing. It's like the whole thing is like an opening cutscene. Your guy's like, I never asked for this, and you're like, oh shit,
because he really didn't. The game makes it's kind of like throughout the game you choose whether you want to be more mechanist or humanist. So like if you don't want to heavily modify your character and make him like pure robot type character, then you're more of a humanist. Or you could just be like, alright, I'm just going to remove all of his limbs and give him all cybernetic the P word.
Prosthesis.
Yes, and then he'll become pretty much fully pretty much a cyborg, except for
yeah. It's like he's got like a robot eye and everything. And so, like, the game starts out, and you're working for Seraph Industries, which is, like, the leading biotech corporation in America. And then you're just there, and then suddenly there's, like, boom, explosion! And the guy's like, what's the elevator code? And you're like, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I forgot that. But,
First one was pretty bad.
Yeah, you go down 3 levels, and then it's like, oh, there's mercenaries killing all the scientists. And they beat you up, nearly kill you, and steal your girlfriend, which is pretty good incentive to whoop some ass.
Yeah, someone beat me within an inch of my life, made me, like, dead, and I got brought back to life. After they took my girlfriend, I would probably want to kill them all.
Yeah, so it's pretty traumatic. It's crazy, awesome. But
by the way, the cutscene is probably the most realistic someone getting thrown through a window cutscene I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
like normal games, like you can just run. I'll just jump through this window. Oh, no cut marks, no lacerations, health bar doesn't go down. All that really happens to him is he gets like suspended, thrown through a window, and shards are everywhere. It like very realistic.
And then he got beat up again.
And then like
they punched him or something.
I know, like,
anyway.
Okay,
it was bad. Bad accident.
Very bad.
Don't worry. This is only like the first 30 minutes of the game. Gameplay is like an RPG / first-person, third-person shooter.
Yeah, it's the shooting is a lot like Rainbow Six. Those games.
Yeah, it's a mix between like tactical cover-based shooters and then Halo, like look down.
Yeah, first person, like you're just walking around in town, or the towns you go to and the various places you go to. You're in first person, but then when you take cover, it switches to a third person, so you can see around the cover without having to like lean out. Like
so it's pretty fun, and there's a lot of really good character choices in the game that you can make, and there's so much detail to the universe. It's incredible.
Yeah. Speaking of character choices, one of my favorite parts about the main character is he doesn't really have much of a personality. Like his voice is kind of monotonous, if you will.
His voice is awesome though. Like
it's a cool it's monotone, but it's a cool tone.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't need any more tones because he's awesome. He's going for like I don't know.
Hello, my name is Adam Johnson.
Yeah, he's like, what?
yeah.
Panic room. There's a goddamn panic room.
Yeah.
Anyway,
even when he's frightened.
Yeah, stuff like that. But the cool thing is that you get to give him your personality.
Yeah. That's one reason why the game creators they were really good about that, because they felt like, oh, if I make him this character, then you're playing as Adam Jensen. But if they're like, all right, well now you're playing as Evan in Adam Jensen's body, like you get to make his personality up, so he kind of forms to like what you would do.
Yeah, and it's really cool, and like the couple moments where there's like a really intense thing going on, they're just mind blowing.
Oh yeah, it's like when he starts showing emotions. Yeah, then that's like the holy shit, like oh my god, this is amazing type thing.
And you never feel as if he makes a dumb choice when you're not in control of him.
Yeah, like during cutscenes, you're kind of like you watch the cutscene, then after that you're like, I would have done the same thing. Like, there's nothing I would have done differently in that cutscene. Like,
it's not like an Aliens. It's like, why are you going in the dark room alone? Why are you shutting the door behind? What are you doing? Oh, okay, now you're dead. Yeah, see, you deserve that because you tripped over a crack in the floor.
Yeah, Adam's like, all right, dark room, let's not go in there. Oh, crack in the floor, let's not walk backwards over that.
Yeah, so it's a very cool game. It's got like this whole yellowish tint to it, which sounds annoying, but it really gives it a cool cyberpunk feel. And if you are someone who hates the term cyberpunk, sorry.
That's our bad. That's our bad.
I can't really think of another way to describe it. I mean,
tech punk.
Tech punk. It's very tech punk.
I feel like that one better. Unless you're a fan of cyberpunk.
Yeah, if you like RPGs, play the game. If you like good combat, play the game. AI is not the best, but it's better than a lot of games.
Yeah, example, like, Cole and I actually really found this amazing today when we were playing it before we got here. If you open a door and an enemy it was in the enemy's peripherals or direct vision, he'll be like, we got a door open over there. We should probably go look at who opened the door.
or if he sees you opening the door, he'll be like, "Who is that?" And you're just like crouched behind cover. You're like, "Shh." God.
Oh yeah, like that. It was when we opened the door and there was a guy there. He's like, "Who is there?" And then we were just crouched in the corner, like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, but it's a really great game. So at this point, we're going to start actually using one of the unnamed names that we gave this podcast. If you kept up with that. So we're going to start talking about the technology, because that's one of the things that we're going to do in this series. Is we're going to kind of review the game, we're going to talk about the game. If you're someone who could care less about that but is interested in technology, this podcast is still for you, because that's what we're going to be talking about for the majority of the thing. So just skip about, right now it's like 10 minutes and 11 minutes in, so just skip 11 minutes, and then
I mean,
or not, because you know, listen,
just some support. Like, come on, you don't gotta skip the half the podcast.
Yeah. So, okay, so first off, Cybernetics. The way that they explain that in that game is that we touched on this before. Is that they connect your neurons to the neurons.
Make artificial neurons that are genuinely compatible with human neurons. There are some people, I think it was 20%, around 20%, maybe a little lower, a little higher, of people whose neurons are not compatible with the synthetic neurons that they manufacture, and those people are screwed.
Or they get just, pretty much.
Like,
and then one of the reasons this technology is so controversial in the game, even though like millions of people have implants and all this kind of stuff. But one of the reasons it's so controversial is because with a lot of people who have implants, they get stuck on neurosymphony drugs. Is that what they're called? Something like that. They
get stuck on something when you first start to, when you first get your implants or your cybernetic, your augmentation. You have to take. They're essentially drugs, kind of like prescription drugs, but they're very addictive.
And what they do is they help make the bond between man and machine work better. And that's a very important thing, and because some people just have incompatible body system, like health systems or something, and so they get stuck using these drugs that are very addictive and mind-killing or something. And
very bad.
Yeah, there's a whole subsection of the game that's just about that.
Yeah, so that's what he was talking about with the people who are against it. It's because they're sick of all these people getting just hooked on these drugs, and then they can't get off, and then, you know, even if they wanted to stop using their augmentations, it's too late. They can't just put their own arm back on.
Yeah.
So it's really, I mean, for some people it's very bad, and I can pretty much sympathize with these people. Like, okay, well, you know, obviously.
Yeah.
There's a problem with being addicted to drugs.
Yeah, that's not desirable in 90% of all time.
Never. Never is that acceptable.
No.
Unless you're weird. I'm calling you out.
If you're addicted to drugs and you're listening to this, you probably don't get that we're making fun of you because you're addicted to drugs. Yeah.
It's very difficult to comprehend what people are saying.
Ants in my arm!
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So that's just like the basis for the augments. Now, there are these people called harvesters that you meet in a certain location, and they're essentially people that were like, screw it, I don't want to be human no more. Cut off my arms and legs, give me robot stuff.
Yeah, and they're actually addicted to, people say that that the particular faction is addicted to augmentations.
Yeah.
Which is partially from the drug. I've inferred that partially because they like the drug, which, I mean, I can't really combat that at all. And also, I mean, because who doesn't? I mean, some people are like, oh, well, I mean, why be a normal human when I can become Iron Man without the suit? Like, I mean, that's basically what they want to become.
Yeah, it's this whole thing that comes up in the game. It's all about self-evolution. It's like, will we bring ourselves to like the ultimate being through genetic modification and these cybernetic enhancements? It's like, why have a hand that can't pulverize rock when you can get a hand and crush a diamond?
Like trying to make it to where humans are more reliant on themselves but by using the technology. Like, why I don't need a drill if I can just make my hand a drill. But it's like they're making the humans just rely on humans, not like, oh, well, my car broke down. Well, if I can run as fast as a car, I don't need a car, right? But, yeah, so they're using basically, they're self-evolution, like he said. They're trying to evolve themselves with this technology, so that way they don't really have to do anything. They can just do everything without tools.
Yeah. But now, we'll touch on that a bit more because it's a really interesting and topical discussion, I think. Because
it's controversial.
Because it's coming up in our actual time period. Like, this is something that could happen in the next 5 to 10 years. You know?
Actually, it was a biology project we were working on the other day. We were talking about people just being genetically modified, not so much with machines, but in that class it was like, oh, fixing genes that are bad, like, oh, I don't want this kid to have asthma. But
I want my kid to have anime hair, and it's going to be red and spiky, and whenever someone like tries to give him a noogie, it hardens into spines and stabs them.
You can have that pretty soon, actually, according to science class.
Yeah, so if we're wrong, blame science.
That's right. Or
now,
Cherokee County.
hey now, name dropping. Now, one of the things that you can get is something called Typhoon, which is one of the most weirdly overpowered / cool things ever.
It's both weird and overpowered. And it's awesome and kind of concerning. Yeah. Basically, you want to give them the rundown?
Yeah. So, the way that they explain it in the game is that Seraph Industries they make everything and anything you want. Like, you want a new eye, you got a new eye. If you want a Typhoon system, they'll do that too. And essentially, what the Typhoon system is from what I get, it's a chest implantation. And from there, using kinetic energy, it shoots out like little balls
that then
explode or something.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think of a movie, but that like has little balls that explode. Basically, like little mini grenades that are like they look like ball bearings and they just explode, and it sends that out in like a circle. So your dude kind of like, well, I can't really act out.
He just goes like Typhoon and like drops into a kneel, and then just things shoot out of him, and you're just like
like everything around, and you can get upgrades for your Typhoon. Like that's another thing. It becomes actually comically overpowered if you get the upgrades. Like, you could be like around 20 people and like 3 giant like mechs, and just be like Typhoon, and then they all just explode and like fly across them. It is really funny.
Ragdoll is amazing.
Ragdoll is perfect. Like literally, we got Ragdoll is actually it's legit Ragdoll. Like if they get shot in the head, they go limp. Like completely, really good.
But so we were thinking like, how the hell would that actually work? It's like, do they just like dig out a chest cavity and put this in there, or like?
Yeah, because they do have room for they have obviously lungs to help your character breathe, and they're like cyber lungs. So maybe they like cut when they were giving him surgery. They like cut a hole in his chest and like moved the cybernetic lungs like to the extreme ends of his chest, and then like just slapped in a bomb.
So I had another idea about this just now, actually.
Just now, alright.
Okay, so maybe one of the reasons that like it's in his back. It says chest implantation just because that's an area of the body, like your chest. That's an area. But what if like along his shoulder blades or whatever, they put these like little metal studs that essentially just shoot out these.
Like maybe it loads via chest, like the but because it but it like shoots out of different parts, like the back. Because that makes sense, because your guy goes into a kneel, and I kind of had a problem with this when I first started playing, but eventually learned to accept it because it's amazing. But you're kind of like, he goes into a kneel, and his chest is pointed at the ground, and then they kind of just go out sideways, like circle around him.
So maybe it's just from your back, and it's like little teeny things
like
just
along the side, sides of the back and back of the back.
Okay, back of the back.
Think of a better term.
Your back?
Your rear of the back. Well, there's multiple locations on your. There's like the side of your back, the top of your back, the middle of your back. All right.
Okay, but so anyways, that was and I mean personally, I don't think that would ever become like a legal thing outside of the military. Because like, you're walking into the Walmart, all right? You're in front of me.
All right, I'm in front of them, right?
Yeah.
Checking out?
Yeah,
right.
You're checking out. You're the person who's doing things very slowly.
I'm an old man.
And you think that you're going to win an award for having exact change. So you pay attention to that.
Oh, God. You know, get out the change belt, you know, clinking out pennies. Like,
yep. Pennies, which, of course, matter, you know, even though they lose us millions of dollars a year making them.
We really shouldn't make that. Okay.
Anyway, different topic.
Yeah, different video.
So it's like, this guy's pissing me off. What if I just decided to go Typhoon and explode everything around me, you know?
Yeah.
That could become a problem. Like, rednecks with holstered guns, like, I have a concealed weapons permit, you can't, I can just have a gun. That already scares me.
Yeah, some people really don't need to be having concealed weapons permit, much less chest or back projectile, like,
explosives.
Yeah, like the last thing I want a redneck or any, I'm not going to say where we live, because it's kind of, people watching will get offended, sometimes maybe. North Carolina.
Okay. Cut that.
Basically, if no one needs to be walking around with an instant death, like all they gotta do is be like, you know what, I really don't like even at school, like imagine if kids got their hands on this, like give me an A or I will blow the building in half.
Exactly.
I can guarantee my GPA would improve, but other than that, it would be very bad.
Yeah, so it's like, it just seems like something like, even if there's like a really plausible explanation for this, which I think we might have come up with one.
Yeah, we had tons of theories on how this thing worked.
Yeah. So it's worrying to see that kind of stuff happen.
We'll discuss that part later, though. The whole concerns of technology.
Yeah, that don't worry. That's save the best for last, right? But drum noise.
All right. So how about some other augmentations?
Yeah, one of my favorite ones that you can get is a rebreather, so that poison gas doesn't hurt you.
So we're cracking up because we were playing this earlier and Cole decided not to get that. I didn't know, so I was just throwing gas grenades everywhere.
And he choked himself out to death.
I killed myself. All right, composure.
The way that I think it would work is, so this may sound weird and sorta cool, but you know how lungs are just like sloppy looking things. They're pretty gross, especially if you look at like a diseased one. What if
don't smoke?
No smoking, kids and other people.
Cigarettes.
What if for fourth time, instead of having normal lungs, you just get like
cyber lungs?
Like plastic bags that work as lungs.
Made of like Ziploc.
Yeah, something like Ziploc bags inside your chest. But and it does that, and where your bronchial tube bronchial.
I'm pretty sure that's how
bronchial.
Your bronchial.
When your brontosaurus attaches to the cyber lungs, what if there were like filters that they implanted in that would like filter out all the chemicals and stuff? So you're getting cleaner air through plastic bags in your chest.
So that would solve pollution.
Yeah, that would. It's like all those people in China that are like complaining about all that smog and stuff. Yeah. Just get plastic lungs, dude.
What are you doing, man?
Yeah, like, come on. Well, you're clearly able to afford this kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's not like no.
No, we're joking. Love China.
Everything I get is made there. Of course I love it.
Oh, I love that one camera shot in the game where it like zooms in on that camera lens and it just is made in Japan.
Yeah, that was really funny. It's
it's funny, but it's true.
But it's like in the game, it really just seems like a futuristic version of where we live right now, because it's like everything has. There's even like advertisements throughout, like in the subways and stuff for like. I think there's one for like a movie maybe, and like some for like cologne or something. Part of the game, the first part of the game at least, takes place in Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit. It's future Detroit, and everyone knows how horribly shitty Detroit is right now. You know, you got like zombies and packs of wild dogs and shit.
Really bad.
Yeah, but in this future, like the auto industry, the biotech industry, because land there was super cheap, they just decided, let's build our corporation headquarters here.
That's your character's corporation.
Yeah. And so Seraph Industries comes back into Detroit, and because of this, all these other companies move into Detroit, and it's like mass revival.
Yeah, I guess the only word is corporate competition.
Yeah, corporate competitions and all that.
Yeah, kind of like even in my town here, we have like 2 or 3 different like Ford and Kia.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't? Okay.
It's like we're in the middle of nowhere. Why bother putting 3 different competitive car companies?
It's 2 or 3, but like, you don't really. What? I mean, really, there only needs to be one.
Yeah, it's just like the car place.
Yeah, the car place. It sells one of every type of car.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to Detroit. So basically, what we're saying is the world really feels like it's just like Detroit. I've never been to Detroit, but I've been to areas kind of like Detroit, and I feel that it's basically like, all right, in 2077?
Yeah, 2077.
I could honestly picture everything in that game looking and feeling and acting
the
way it would in 2077.
And you know what's going to help bring that to life? The Deus Ex movie that is coming out. They've announced it.
Confirmed?
The confirmed Deus Ex movie with a director, and cut out the squeals. Yes, so we're super excited for that, needless to say.
Been waiting a while for
that. We go on tangents, don't we?
We are bad at this.
First episode.
Bear with us, people.
Now, one of the other favorite augments of mine that you can get is an eye augment.
Yeah, Retinol.
Yeah, and he gets the main character of the game gets a robot eye.
Yeah, is it one or both? I think it's just one.
It's just one.
Yeah, they're just you want a new eye?
And he gets the coolest sunglasses ever.
Okay, we will talk
one thing at a time.
Okay.
Eye first.
Then sunglasses. So that basically, like how we were talking about earlier, where it's like, oh, you want a new thing? We'll just cut up. Well, even in this case, your character's like, I want to be able to. I think it would enhance my performance in the field if I could see people through walls. I completely agree with this statement.
Yes.
So they just go in and they basically just like scoop out his eye. Well, okay, probably a little more medical than that.
Yeah. It's like a vacuum cleaner. They just go like and it pops out. Probably more medical than that though.
Probably more medical.
Anyways,
they call it like the
scoop out the inferior goopy human bits and replace it with the far superior goopy robotic bits.
That's basically what you got. It's so now he's just like, oh well, I'm gonna activate this eye, which drains a little bit of your character's energy. You have an energy meter.
Yeah.
We should
we'll talk about that.
Yeah, the energy meter, but it drains it, and then you're like, oh okay, well now there's a guy behind that wall I can see because I forget how exactly they explain the science behind that.
Okay, well let's discuss it ourselves and let's say how it works. Screw logic. Screw the facts. Don't confuse the argument with facts, Evan.
I'm sorry.
So my theory behind it is that somehow the eye either uses some sort of sonar sort of thing, or it uses X-ray technology to sort of look through objects, because you can't look through all the walls in a building. You can only look through like the one in front of you.
That makes actually sonar seem slightly more likely, like maybe specific sonar to like maybe a magnetic, electronic pulses in the skin, maybe, because it works on non-augmented.
That would, oh my god, that you just came up with something. What if the eye was like looking for radio frequencies or something that the body emits?
Yes, that makes a lot of sense, because then it's like, oh, okay, because it really doesn't detect anything other than people, so it's
not exactly true, because you can get an upgrade to that eye, which this eye can also explain.
Okay, well, the upgrade will build off of the normal one. Like, you can see the radio frequencies in the body, and the upgrade
is like, because RFID tags are becoming a bigger and bigger thing, and people, if you don't know what an RFID tag is, look it up. It's cool and dangerous and topical, like all science.
Everything these days is a controversy.
Yes. Abortion. No. So basically, the upgrade to the eye is like, okay, I'm going to recognize this RFID tag on this soldier's gun, so I'm going to display a 3D model of the gun, show you how many shots it has fired recently, what upgrades it has, and blah. So it's really cool because you can be looking at this guy and you're like, okay, I see there's a guy there. Let me scan him real quick. Okay, 3D model of the dude. He has this kind of grenade. He has has this thing, and he has a radio that he can contact his other friends with.
Which is painfully helpful, because if you single out a guy and you got like, all right, what's he carrying? All right, he is carrying a revolver. He's probably a little high ranking. Hasn't really fired any shots. He's got a full chamber. All right, so now I know what's in the next room. I look through a window, so now I know how to, if I want to take specifically this guy out and like drag him into like a corner or a vent to hide him, I can be like, all right, so this is the weapon he's got, and you can also get upgrades for your guy to see his vision cone. So you can be like, all right, memorize his patrol route so I can get up there, neutralize him silently. Or you can be one of the guns blazing. Not my play style. Other people just love running in there with like a minigun.
Hey, don't diss it until you've tried it, my friend.
I tried it and hated it. That's why it's not my playing style. But some people just love, like, they're like, okay, we got a guy with a revolver, so, alright, then we got a post open the door!
Yeah.
So it's more helpful if you use the cranial and eye augments for stealth playthroughs, more on the torso augments for combat-heavy playthroughs, which... There are several.
There are a lot of good ones, including the Typhoon, which we
that's
just said.
Obviously a combat upgrade. There is no superior weapon than the Typhoon, except for maybe, in my opinion, the Peps.
The plasma cannon. You forget about the plasma cannon, but you get that.
I forget because you get it later in the game.
Yeah.
I count. Okay, plasma cannon is plasma cannon.
Yeah.
Like
it's
the
its own
rod
thing
from Halo.
Yeah.
It's like that without the bounce.
Yes, but
weapon is what it is.
And not only can your dude get all these cybernetic enhancements, but there's also just genetic enhancements. Like, I think the biggest one there, it would be the dermal enhancements. And if you don't know your Latin roots, kids, dermal means skin.
Yeah.
You can't say you didn't learn anything.
That's right. Obviously, and adults, by the way, not just kids. Okay, so the reason you can't just have mechanical skin is because that would require a lot of work by the companies, removing every skin cell and somehow replacing that. It just would they can't.
They can't do that. So what a dermal skin enhancement does is it just goes, okay, here's your normal skin. We're gonna find the genes. Sorry about that. We're gonna find the genes in your skin, and then we're gonna give you the toughness of elephant skin. So you have your skin. It looks like human skin, but it's like hide from an elephant.
It's tougher, basically.
Yeah.
But it's not actual elephant skin.
No, it's not.
But it's the same effect.
Yes, and that's how gene modding works right now. It's like you have to take the glow gene DNA from an octopus and put it in the dog DNA. You have to get your DNA from somewhere, and that's where the elephant thing came from.
Yeah, I understand. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in that game, I think I believe they engineer their own DNA for these.
Yes, they do, because they had that technology.
Because they're.
Yeah. You know, because reasons.
Yeah, I mean, because medical science.
Yes, exactly.
That's basically why.
So you can get stuff like that. You can get the highly controversial leg prosthesis.
We're going to talk very briefly about the leg prosthesis.
Okay.
Due to
so in the game, your dude loses his arms and gets them replaced with robot ones. You can buy an upgrade in that game to enhance your legs. I think that what this does is it puts in robotics on inside of your leg or something, or genetically modifies your legs. You think that they just cut off his legs and put on robot ones.
You're making your point sound a lot more professional, and that is not cool. Alright, so what he is saying is now. Basically, what we were discussing earlier is whether, because your character, it is painfully clear that your guy has... we're going to call them robot arms. Yes, robot arms.
Robot arms.
And it's like, alright, I'm pretty sure I can put together what happened here when you see your character for more than instantly. So then, but he wears pants like a normal person and shoes like a normal person. So, because, I mean, obviously you don't kind of want to stand out too much because he, again, has no personality and is not attention. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like we were trying to figure out, like, So, because what I thought was not just chop off the damn. You making it sound horrid, but like his arms are robots. So I'm thinking they did the same thing, but with legs, not arms, to his legs. So, and he's saying like, no, they just went in and they rewrote the genetic code with our little Seraph Industries
Gene writer.
Let's call it the gene writer.
Yeah.
They just wrote the genes and we're like, all right, we're gonna make this tough and make this tough. But my main argument for that is you can make it to where your character can jump, I believe, an extra 3.5 meters.
Yep. From the 0.5 that you can originally jump.
Yeah. That's 4 meters.
Not true. Okay. Yes, I know how many yards 4 meters is.
It's almost 4 yards.
But there are the way your body works right now. I can supercharge myself. That's something I can do. And then the example I'll give is there's a story. This is a legitimate thing. If you don't believe me, you can look it up. Google it. But there is a story about this dude who got struck by lightning and jumped 12 feet into the air.
Probably because the force of the lightning going through his body, hitting
because
the
it's supercharged. Your muscles are like this. Cut. And
cut that.
So as you can look at that. Sorry, we're laughing at the wavelength. It's just like this solid block. Apologies to your ears. But so my point is, you can jump really high on your own given the right conditions. So why couldn't it just be, hey, we're going to supercharge your muscles?
Yeah, we're gonna put raw lightning in your legs.
Yeah. Bottled lightning. Shock jockey.
Yeah, see. No, but that's what I'm saying. Yeah. You're just going to be like, all right, we're going to put like a bottled lightning. That's metaphor, by the way.
They don't literally put bottled lightning into you.
I'm just thinking, in my opinion, to be simpler, they already came up with arms. Why not just, all right, I'm over here. I'm really bored. I want to jump 4 meters tall. Oh, give me some robot legs. Just saying.
Okay, but here's the thing. You can do that in the middle of a mission. So you just go to cut off your legs and put on robot ones in the middle of a mission? Oh snap!
In my defense, what? Perhaps your character. When you open your inventory screen, the game pauses. How do we know that? When you open your inventory screen, how does he carry all that crap on him? He doesn't have a backpack. Perhaps he's a secret offshore like locker of all his weapons, because there's no way he's carrying all this crap around. And then it's like, oh, when he pauses the game, he has an augment that freezes time. No, this is not happening at all. We're going to stop talking about the leg prosthesis now, because we're going to not stop talking about it.
Here's something...
Not keep talking about the leg prosthesis.
Yeah, Evan? Okay, now here's something we both can agree on and love. The Icarus flight suit.
The Icarus might be... it is definitely the coolest looking. I think it actually looks way cooler than the Typhoon. My opinion, maybe not. Yeah,
I love it. Okay, so,
all right, Cole.
You want to go for it?
All right, so I'll give him a rundown. You can jump in if you feel like it. So with the Icarus flight suit, is that what they call the flight suit?
Icarus, whatever.
Just the Icarus.
We're gonna call it the Icarus.
Yes. Okay. So what it does is it is technically a back augmentation.
No.
Where's it at then?
Okay, no.
Under the label of augmentations, and the augmentation selecting.
I think they put it in your back.
They put it in the back, but it doesn't come out of your back. But I'm just saying the type is a back augmentation. But really, I do not see how it is. If anything, it should be like under a special category called badass full body augmentation. All right. So what you can do is you get to Icarus and say I'm on top of a skyscraper because I felt like walking up there and killing bad guys or terrorists, or those are bad guys.
Corporate mercenaries.
Or corporate mercenaries. Or aliens. That doesn't happen.
No, aliens happen.
Yeah, robot aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, So we Borg. So they get on the skyscraper, and I'm like, well, stairs are for bitches. Like, just jump off the building.
Yeah.
Land, and then
in the air, what happens is when you do this, you jump into the air, and what it looks like is electricity coming out of your hands and forming a sphere around you, and you just sort of float down to the ground and land.
This one is, and you can also get an upgrade to where when you hit the ground,
I think that comes with it, actually.
Does it really?
Yeah.
It's been okay. So what you do is it comes with, or you can get We'll double check.
Stun model.
It's called the stun model. Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, actually, I think you do get it.
Yeah.
The stun model, but it's like that's like military personnel only type thing.
Yeah.
Like, I can't just
Anyway,
go up. Okay, so you jump off, and then when you hit the ground, you I can't.
Okay. So this supports my theory that it's using that it uses electrical fields. And one of the ways I think that could work maybe it electrifies the air into a more solid form, so that you're falling through like the electricity. There's way more resistance.
Like the electricity it lets off, hardens the carbon atoms or something like that.
Yeah, maybe it electrifies the air and condenses the air around you, so that instead of just being like, you're just like, because and if you couldn't tell, that was air and noises and hand gestures, which work great for an audio podcast. But maybe the electricity condenses all the air around you, so that, because everyone has had a fan pointed at them. So what this does is it just acts like a sort of fan and pushes all the air up against you, so that you're falling slower.
So then what you're saying, what I'm going to infer for what you're saying, is that when he does the stun thing, when he hits the ground, he kind of just sends that electricity out and
disperses it.
Yeah, just hits the ground. Hand gesture here. Hits the ground with his hands.
Yes.
In a way, and basically sends it out and condenses it, and then it hits people, which renders them unconscious.
Yeah. Which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I would want that. I can't tell if I would want the Typhoon or the Icarus.
I would go with the Icarus, personally. I would just
saying, if my Typhoon and your Icarus got in a fight, I'd win.
Well, it depends. It depends. Because when you're in the Icarus, the electrical field around you prevents you from getting damaged.
That's true.
So, in theory, if Evan had the Typhoon, I could run like a bitch up to a tall place, and then jump down and stun.
Right. But if we're playing on a level like charge, arena type thing, no way the Icarus is going to help you, because you can...
Typhoon is just
and multiple combat, killing people, Typhoon, because the Icarus only stuns them and renders them unconscious. So say
if you're going for the Mercy playthrough.
That's true.
Yeah.
If you're going through a I want to kill everybody because I'm an asshole playthrough, Icarus, you can just stun everybody. Cut that. So another augmentation is oh god. EMP defense one.
Okay, let's just. Not the EMP. Let's talk about the sunglasses. Because
we forgot about the sunglasses. The sunglasses.
We promised you sunglasses. We're going to talk about the sunglasses.
Alright, so sunglasses are quite possibly the most badass thing in the game.
And I think, on top of all the other badass things that we've previously said are the most badass.
They're there's three things tied, and that's Typhoon, Icarus, and Adam's shades.
Yeah, it's so, in all games, they just give you HUD.
That's true.
Most of the times. If you play a Call of Duty game, chances are you're going to be able to see, oh, hey, this is the rifle I have, and this is how many bullets I have, and this is how many clips, or whatever.
Yeah,
how do you see that?
Some games explain that. Halo, you get your...
You have a helmet.
Yeah.
You have a helmet. It's projected onto your helmet.
Yeah, Call of Duty, I just gotta...
You're mentally keeping track of all this information and putting it in your lower field of vision.
Yeah. I keep, when I play Airsoft, I keep all track of all 1,000 BBs in my lower right-hand corner of my vision. I also have a mental note of where everyone is in my upper right-hand corner, so that way I know where all the enemies are.
Okay.
No, but for real.
The way his shades in this game is they've literally just put on these two metal sort of...
They look like discs, kind of.
Yeah, they put on these metal discs.
Where his temples are.
And attach these metal discs to his temples. And what happens is, whenever he just feels like it, he can think about it, and shades will snap out from that and cover his eyes.
Yeah.
It
sounds not as cool as it looks. When we're talking about, two pieces of plastic covers eye. It's so much more cool.
Yeah.
And that's how the game explains HUD.
Yeah.
I guess if you did get the eye augmentation...
And maybe that's how it explains smart vision as well. Has to do with smart vision.
But when we were talking about the smart vision seeing through walls, maybe it does something with the shades. Mm-hmm. I don't know. But he would be able to do it without the shades, so it may or may not affect anything. These are all theories.
Mm-hmm.
The shades, by far, you could play the game just to look at your character. You really like when the first cutscene. No spoilers. He puts on the shades. That's the only spoiler you're getting about the first actual legit cutscene.
Now, does he have the shades at that point?
No. Okay, I mean first legit Adam Jensen not dying.
Yeah,
that we've already spoiled.
Yeah,
but
well, he doesn't die really.
Okay, terminally
cut.
All right, so he anyways, it makes your character look so much more badass.
Yeah, and it works. I would honestly tell you, I don't care if it looks gimmicky now just because I'm the only person that would have those, but I would get those. Even if I don't use them all that often. I would just get them so that if I wanted to, I could have sunglasses and just be like, sunglasses.
Finally give douchebags an excuse to have shades inside.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I forgot to think, my shades off. I can't really take them off,
Yeah, they're literally, drilled into my bones. Real laughter.
That was real laughter.
Okay.
Anyways, so, what's some other augmentation? What about the EMP defense thing?
EMP defense, fine. God damn it. Talk about frickin' EMP defense.
That's a very helpful... the reason we're pet up on not wanting to talk about a lot of these is because pre-podcast, we had quite a few...
EMPs.
arguments... Basically, Cole made a playthrough in Deus Ex where he just wanted to dick around, which is something that is very difficult to do in the game, and he just assigned all his augments to the, I'm not going to say pointless, but not to where...
Usually, when you go through the game, you don't have to do this, but it's a good idea to go with a playthrough and say, okay, I'm going to focus on hacking and stealth, or I'm going to focus on combat and movement.
Yeah, really, because there's no skill trees.
No.
It's just augments, but you can pretty much tell if you think about it for a little bit, if you're really a technical gamer, you can be like, okay, well, clearly the, dermal, the super armor defense is not really going to be helpful on a stealth playthrough if I'm not ever going to get seen.
Yeah.
Or, but some are universal. The Icarus, if you're going through, you
just want that.
Yeah,
you just want that.
Typhoon, I would say go ahead and get on a stealth playthrough, because if you're going for a stealth playthrough, odds are you're not going to spend lots of stuff on armor, so if you are in a crappy situation, you can just kill everybody around you.
Yeah. Well, I would also just get the Typhoon for boss fights in general.
No spoils about the boss fights, but get the Typhoon for them.
Yes. But
so the EMP defense.
EMP defense. So essentially, things now have EMP shielding, and essentially all that would do is just apply that to your HUD and augments, because that's really all the EMP does is disrupt your HUD.
Yeah. In fact, you actually have to get the first 2 tiers of the upgrade to get your dermal skin.
Yeah.
So you couldn't just paint it on them. His skin is already the elephant skin we were talking about. Quotes. Obviously they wouldn't just put it on you, so he already has at least some of that. So then they're kind of just hey, check this out. We're just gonna that was hand gestures and sound effects. Make him
audio podcast.
Basically they give him defense against EMPs, which you can Google it. It's actual real technology that they use today in the field. EMP defense.
Yeah, it's a thing.
All right. So what about we got any other augments going, Cole? What about some of the lesser?
There's hacking things,
okay,
and that's obvious because it could just be computer programs that you implant into your hands that help you.
And one of the most beneficial augments in the game, not in combat at all, but I actually keep forgetting it's an augment because as soon as I start the game, pretty much my first, they call them praxis points, which is basically you level up, you get a praxis point.
Praxis kit, it's the things that allow you to buy new augs and get new augs.
Yeah, anyways. The speech,
yes.
Oh my god.
The speech analyzer. You want to get this.
Yeah, first augment, I don't care if you're looking around and you're like, oh my god, look at that. No. Forget all that. Get the speech analyzer. Okay,
so it is so cool, and we can actually talk about the technology of this. So what it does...
It shows on screen.
Yeah, it shows on screen some of it. It shows you your persuasion level and your things, and the way that... And it essentially helps you win every conversation. Because you can win conversations, and you can lose conversations.
And it's pretty clear. Because when you win conversations.
Yeah.
You come out of there like, dude, I won.
Yeah.
So
it's like, hey, I'm Adam Jensen. Let me into this police base. If you win the thing, the guy's like, oh yeah, I love you, Adam. And if you lose that, he's like, fuck you, Adam, I hate you.
Yeah.
So what this does,
it really, if don't get it, if you're one of those weird people who doesn't like storyline at all and is kind of just like,
yeah.
I just want to shoot people. Play Call of Duty. Don't even play Deus Ex if you're kind of those people.
But do play Deus Ex to give money to the developers and hopefully get us a sponsor.
That's right. Deus Ex is the greatest game ever.
Let me talk about a great company, CAD. CAD is an amazing. So is HP. And those are we're using a CAD microphone right now. Shout out to CAD and an HP computer.
Shout out to HP computer.
But backtracking.
Maybe not Windows 8. Cut. Basically, the speech analyzer, what it does is it actually, so when you start a conversation, say, Cole, alright, say I need to buy,
okay,
let's do a scenario between
I'm doing a scenario. I want to talk politics. Talking politics is pointless every single time, because all you do is say what you believe in, and the other person says what they believe in, and then you argue back and forth and no one makes a decision.
Yeah, and then in the end...
They don't change.
Yeah, and then in the end, apparently some people are like, his opinion was more of an opinion than the other guy's opinion, which was equally as an opinion, but I am more opinionated to the opinion.
Yes.
Anyways, so it's very stupid. Anyways, so the speech analyzer, what it'll do is you'll walk up, say I want to talk to Cole, and it'll be like, on your upper, like your right-hand corner of the screen.
Yeah, it'll show you, let's not even talk about what the HUD is, but basically it just shows you, this is your, you start out neutral with someone unless they have an inherent disposition to you.
Like, example, this may or may not happen in the game, but say I killed someone's wife and then I talk to them, obviously they're not going to be neutral with me.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, yo bro, you killed my wife.
Yeah.
Probably a little more disheartening.
Yeah, but anyway. So it'll display your persuasion level, and then during the conversation, it will analyze their pulse, their heart rate,
lungs, how fast they're breathing, if they're
sweat, and it'll tell you
body language as well.
Yeah, it'll tell you their body language. It'll tell you this person is an alpha, meaning that they're dominant. They like to be in control.
They like to be the leader of whatever it is that's going on right now.
Or this person's an omega. They have low self-esteem. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And so during the course
as well.
Yeah, beta, alpha, beta, omega. Those are actually 4 legitimate.
3.
Math.
Cut.
Those are 3 legitimate things. Those are actual personality types.
Yeah, they are. Like, I can.
So,
yeah.
It'll tell you what kind of thing this person is, and then it'll reach a point in the conversation where you can release pheromones to help influence the person.
Sounds really suggestive, but it's not. It's like, basically, I don't really know how they explain the pheromone emitting. I guess it's kind of like how
maybe you just it's like musk, like manly musk or womanly musk. Like you just start excreting the smell, which sounds really bad.
That sentence.
Anytime you use the word excrete, it sounds
like, oh my god, I was just excreting math homework last night.
So you influence the person towards you, and then you get specific options that pressure them towards their specific personality.
Yeah, okay, so say like I'm talking to someone and they're an omega, which means they have, low self-esteem. They're kind of like a
I wouldn't say whiny, but I'd just say that like they know what they like, they know their opinions and stuff, but you can really poke at them and use that effectively. Yeah, whereas someone like an alpha, that'll just make them mad. He's like, who the f*** are you?
So what the pheromones do is he will emit
pheromones.
The pheromones, and then say a sentence. Okay, more than a sentence usually.
Yeah.
And basically, what he says, the pheromones will like it sounds weird. Contemplate the sentence, like, okay, so the type is like for omegas.
Yeah.
Omega, I really need something from this omega, so I'm gonna pressure them.
Yeah, I'm gonna pressure them. I'm gonna make fun of them. They're gonna crack, and they're gonna bend to my will.
Like, hey man, I saw those needles in your car you've been shooting up. It'd be a shame if family heard out about that.
Yeah.
Then they'd be like, oh no, along with the pheromones, that's just gonna just screw up that person. Like, they're gonna be like, I'll give you whatever you want.
Yeah.
I'm a heroin addict.
Yeah, it is. It is really, really cool.
And the best part about and it is so helpful in the game. Like, literally, if you play that game without getting that, it is very difficult because then you don't know what people are thinking. You have to go by your interpretation, and some people in that game may or may not be psychologists. There is one guy who may or may not actually be a psychologist and is very good at concealing his emotions. So if you don't play with that, and there's a certain dialogue scene that you may or may not be able to trigger, that you need that because he'll just be standing there like and blah 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 blah, and he'll be saying stuff.
The other thing that happens in that game is if you fail a conversation, you don't feel like, oh, shit, I have to reload and try this again. You feel like a bad person because you failed that conversation. The person is like, well, you chose to do this, and I don't like the way you're talking to me because you sound like this. And you're like, oh my god, he's right. And he does the same thing that you were trying to do to him.
Right, like, it's like in real life when you have a conversation with someone and they just make you feel horrible because you said some things wrong.
Or it's like, hey, are you pregnant? No, I'm fat.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Obviously, a little more deep when it's in that game.
That doesn't happen.
Yeah, maybe future DLC. I would totally pay. No, I'm kidding. Shut up, pregnant.
Deus Ex, human pregnancy. That's a play on the title because the title is Deus Ex, Human Revolution.
Yes.
Which is
Yes.
So, that's just what we think about the augments and stuff in the game. So
it's strictly. I mean, there are some facts stated in the game to back what we've just said, but most of it is just like
speculation.
Yeah, speculation. Yeah, like kind of like okay, well we think this has happened, and what we say we think at least. You guys might be like, what the? There is no way that the Icarus suit makes air denser. Yeah. We think it makes air denser. You have a different opinion. That's your opinion. That's why you need to get out there and play that game.
If you're watching/listening on YouTube, leave a comment saying, "Hey, I think you guys are idiots. It's this," or don't do that.
Yeah, please. Actually, if you have a really well-backed opinion, other than you guys are fags, if you have a well-backed opinion, we would love to hear it, and eventually,
we'll probably give an email at the end of this if you just feel like putting yourself through the email process.
I mean, or eventually, maybe later in our
we'll have a website.
Yeah, a website, or maybe we make a website. I mean, an episode answering all questions from past games that we review. Like an hour-long thing.
Funny.
That would be hilarious. In fact.
So that was just our opinions and theories on how that stuff worked. If you're a technology person, you probably like that.
If you're a technology person, you will absolutely love this game. Oh my god!
It is so cool. Now, for those of you who want to talk about the politics and the morals of that game, this next segment is just for you.
Yes. If you some things we might discuss, we might accidentally spoil because we have pretty different opinions about this. So if we spoil anything about the game, disregard it.
Yeah. Now, one of the reasons I decided to do this with my best buddy over here, co-host A.
I'm co-host A. You're co-host 1.
I'm co-host 1. One of the reasons I decided to do this with my buddy co-host A is because we do like a lot of the same things.
We do. That's obvious. We're buddies, You can't just be friends with people you hate.
Yeah. That does not work.
Tried it.
But we do tend to have differing opinions on, politics or other stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I figured it would probably increase podcast value and points if we get into legitimate arguments about things.
Yeah, which we're going to definitely do.
We're going to do that right now.
Arguing, hopefully, as episodes go on.
Yes. So, one of my favorite things about the game is you essentially get to choose the way the game ends. Not going to tell you in depth about how to change it or what they are.
How to unlock the different endings, so to speak.
Anyway.
Not the process, just maybe the result.
Point of the thing is, the game is about self-evolution, and are we,
is humanity ready to take on self-evolution?
Are we playing God? Are we doing this? Are we spitting in the face of everything else on Earth?
Yeah.
I think no. We We are pathetic. Humans are squishy bags of meat. If you look at a tiger and you look at a human, no competition. Tiger is better.
But humans
on the physical scale, just the physical scale. So bear with me here, because we are squishy meat bags.
Yeah.
It is perfectly fine to say, I disavow my human limbs so that I can have robotic limbs and firmly be at the top of the food chain. You know, it's like, not only are we superior intellectually and we can bang those rocks and make those sparks and make that fire, I can now do that with my fingers because I have metal hands with flint and steel in my fingers, and I can snap and make sparks. I can make knives come out of my things. It's perfectly fine, and it's like you know, it's a thing. It's like we're already sort of on that path, so why not just go the full way and start making robot humans?
Alright, my rebuttal, and I mean, for the game, don't get me wrong, this is not going to criticize the game, because if the game didn't have what it had, the game would be boring. In fact, it wouldn't even be possible.
Yeah.
So in the game, I support pretty much everything just because it's a game. But in real life, I do not think that humans, especially being the greedy people we are, because we've known to be greedy over the past.
Yeah, that's true today.
Yeah, example, war. if we were perfect, I definitely don't think we're ready to take on human evolution, like self-guided evolution, until we can successfully have a painfully long time without war. Because then, greedy, and then we're evolving now. I'm choosing how I evolve. I'm going to be a greedy bastard and just take everything. So I think humankind is not ready for that, because it's like self-evolution is it's an overtime thing. And I think if you speed up the process, it'll just F everything up.
Okay, but it's what if this is what we're meant to do? You speak of evolution as taking a long time. What if every other civilization in the universe, if you don't believe in aliens, you're stupid.
Correct.
What if every other alien civilization in the universe came to this point where they're like, we are physically the best we're gonna be, and then over time they realize the only way to move forward is to take things into our own hands and start going places. And I'm not saying go for like Nazi Aryan nation blue eyes blonde hair shit. That's bad. It's horrible. But I am saying there's nothing wrong with wanting to be better. That's a good thing. That's what drives us. That's how we do things. That's how we make things, And being in a position where like I'm a construction worker, I would do my job better if I had a jackhammer in my hand. Do that.
Right. Okay. So I agree with the part where it's like humans were meant to evolve and build things, but once you reach your max, like I still don't think we're at our max. We only
we only use
our brain. We only use a portion of that.
Yeah, well, I think it's something like 10%.
Yeah, if once we use the whole percent, maybe the whole percent, 100%. Excuse me, cut. We will be completely ready to do that, but right now we will not, because I think evolution is like it stops at a certain point. No, evolution, in my opinion, is not completely. It has a stopping point. Everything, pretty much everything, except for maybe time, has a stopping point. And I think
time also has a stopping point. Ever heard of a stopwatch?
Oh, forced laughter.
Cut.
Yeah. It's a good pun. But I think that once we hit our stopping point, which may be very soon, we can then we'll be ready to take on maybe evolving ourselves in technology like they did in Deus Ex. But right now I think we definitely don't need to be thinking about that. We need to be focusing on world peace. That sounds really gay when I say it like that. No, okay,
not gay.
Okay, I could not think of a better term. Nothing against
no
gays.
Offense to homosexuals.
It sounds really wimpy of myself.
Yeah.
To be like world peace.
Hippie.
Hippie.
Yeah, we don't care about hippies. Thank you.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Cut.
But they probably. We are not ready to do that, because if we start doing that, then I think evolution will start taking effect before it's done. And then if evolution takes effect as we're digging with our evolution, then the natural evolution will start to set in, because I think when our humans were back in their little microorganism state, because I believe that actually happened, because there's no way that we were just like, pop, check it out, I'm fully formed. We start as microorganisms.
Yeah.
Anyways, when we were back there, I think our genes were written to eventually evolve into something, and I think we're obviously not there yet. So I think that if we started messing with that, especially the way the Deus Ex things work, where they connect our neurons together, I think that it will just destroy that and like mess with the natural way we were encoded.
Okay. Well, here, no stuttering. One of the biggest issues that we have right now, the reasons that we go to war, the two biggest reasons that we've been going to war and stuff, is because of religion and because of looks. You know, you can't deny that. It's like slavery. If everyone looked,
basically back when
everyone had cybernetic augments during that time period, it would be much harder to defend slavery, because it's like, I can do the same thing as this guy can. He's not less of a person than me. It's like, getting cybernetics is like the next step. You're improving yourself. You're improving the human condition. And yes, it's true that we're greedy and that we've got all these negative things, but there's so much good things about us as well. And it's just the whole point of advancing ourselves in this kind of way is we can take a step back and realize, hey, we're not going to be entombed in these fleshy bodies forever. Let's realize that there's a higher level that we can function at. Let's start moving there. And then as we do that, yes, there will be people who abuse the technology that's in the game, but there will also be people who use it for good. And that's also in the game. And I just think that once we get to that point to where this kind of thing becomes distributable at a worldwide level, people will start to realize we're not really this sort of thing that we don't need to fight each other all the time. It's like we're going to start realizing a lot of things, like on a philosophical level, once we've hit this point.
Yeah, but I don't think we're going to gain that by first augmenting ourselves. I think we're at we live in the United States, and they're currently at war. If we start augmenting...
Wait, are we?
Cut. If we start augmenting ourselves, then if we're the only country that does that, we are screwed, because the other countries have nukes. So then obviously every country is going to be able to do that. So then the country we're at war with, they're also going to get it. So then if we are at war right now, the war's not gonna get over any faster by augmenting us.
But it will. It will not. It will, because we go to this point and realize that man and machine can be together, and we can like be this thing that's like better. It's like humans in itself. I'm trying to think of a way to word this in a good... It's
very difficult to word what we think, so if we sound stupid, please just don't leave a comment, or
do leave a comment, and we'll just kind of be like,
you stuttered a little bit back there? Really?
It's like, we stutter, we're humans. That wouldn't happen if we were machines!
Yeah, well, that's what makes us human, Paul.
Yes, but I'm just saying, so once we start interacting with the machines in this level, like once we get to this point where we're starting to become something better, and crinkling, crinkling represents machinery. Once we've reached this bond, we're going to realize that being human isn't just like this thing that means that we're automatically entitled to all this stuff. We're going to realize that there's much more that we have to get to, or that we have to do to become like the best thing. And it's like, and I'm not saying hail the Borg, Star Trek reference. I'm not saying that. It's like Borg is a bit weird. That's different. But I'm just saying, like, we keep the good things about us, but we make it so that we're better.
If we keep only the good things and remove the bad things, then the good things will become like the obsolete things, because our artificial bad things will be replaced with better than good things, and it will eventually work out to where all we have in our mind, good and bad traits, will be just all cybernetics. If we remove people's bad traits, that's what makes them have good traits. Example, I get I don't know, get a bad trait about me. If it wouldn't be a bad trait and make me Evan. If we all had good traits, it would be weird. We have to have bad traits.
Okay.
And if we replace those with cybernetics, then it'll be just weird.
I will say everything in moderation. That not meaning drugs. I mean, unless you want to get into the whole weed debate, I mean, it's not really that bad for you or anything.
It's really not.
But unless you abuse it, which goes back to the everything in moderation. I'm not saying we go into our brains and just scoop out all like the greed and the lust and blah blah blah.
But you did.
The 7 quote unquote sins.
Quote unquote. Yes.
Yes, I wrote that because those are good things in moderation. Like,
it's good to be a little greedy.
Yeah, because greed doesn't mean greed for money or greed for power. Greed is just wanting something that you don't have. And you can want friends or you can want family, and that's still, you're being greedy because you want this thing that you don't have.
Greed is like wanting something that you don't have. So
that's what I said.
Yes, I know.
That's what I said.
But you were ranting. I wanted to say it plain and simple.
Okay. But having cybernetics, it's not going to get rid of all the bad things. It's just going to help improve us and realize that we're better than going to war with each other and being stupid.
No, I think humanity just but when you give people cybernetics and stuff, I think it will make what they are. I hardly understand what you're saying about the whole. If we take out and dick with the things in our head, we're gonna somehow realize that we don't want war. If you're talking about rewriting the human brain to think war is bad,
I'm just saying. I'm not saying that.
Okay, I know. Okay, that's good. All right, but that's not the way. What humans have to do is get their heads out of their ass and realize that, I'm going to kill him. That's not going to fix anything. If I go over there and just I'm terrorists. If I terrorize these people, that's not going to fix anything. That's going to make me hated and get a war.
And the same thing for the people that go in there and are just like, hey, terrorists, we're going to terrorize you back because that will fix anything. It's not. But if we just said, hey, those guys are terrorists, why don't we just augment everyone to be unable to ever get anthrax poisoning?
That's not what I was. What?
Yeah.
If we just augment everyone. First of all, they would come out with new things other than anthrax. They could just come out with rain. Bam, damages or cybernetics. Bam, rust. No, just kidding. But acid rain. That'd really F you up.
The chips that make people go crazy.
That's right. Crazy chips. People. Okay, so if we let's make people immune to anthrax. People can obviously control that and monitor that crap. What happens if someone goes to the doctor's office and is like, I need my anthrax poisoning meter checked?
Okay, well, here's the thing. It's like, people, there are, the way that the world works is that most everyone is good. And then there are a few dicks that are really bad. And they are the attention whores for badness, they just steal all the attention. That's all we pay attention to. People who have those remote defibrillators implanted in their chest, and yes, that is a real thing. If you have one of those, your doctor's not going to go shock you over and over again. That just doesn't happen.
I didn't say that. I said what happens if someone bad gets into the clinic where you get that stuff checked up on, because they can't just make that and expect it to run code forever. They could be like, how about I drop a metaphorical hand grenade in your defibrillator. It's not really going to be a hand grenade, but it could inject with a virus, kind of like what happened in the game, or not. Since cut, we're gonna. Anyways.
By the way, whenever we say cut, we're not really gonna cut anything because we're lazy.
Yeah, we're just saying that you may or may not want to disregard the previous sentence or two.
Cut.
Anyways, so the game has a lot of
So
basically the game, it's very controversial. Him and I could pretty much argue, nitpick about all the politics. With eventually there would probably not be a winner.
Moral of the story: eat your Wheaties.
Eat your Wheaties. I mean, if you eat your Wheaties, then you don't need a
take those Wheaties, turn them into nanotrites, and eat those nanotrites that are flavored, and then you can never die. Because as Rage has so eloquently pointed out, even if you're stabbed in the chest, a defibrillator made of nanotrites will heal you completely.
In case people are stupid, that was sarcasm.
Yes, that was very heavy sarcasm. But
anyways, so this is pretty. I guess that pretty much wraps everything
I
up.
think this is a good example of what UGP in the future will be like, which is the Unnamed Gaming Podcast. In case you guys, which name should be inherently funny.
Anyways, remember, keep in mind, guys, this is our first episode, so please don't just be like, they were laughing the whole time, or something, stuttering really people.
It's like, would you really just have us not laugh the entire time?
Yeah, would you rather be awkward? We were like, screaming at you, like, you are stupid!
Fuck it! No, opinions!
Opinions! Politics! See, no one wants that. We're trying to be inclusive of all audience. Okay.
We're trying to give opinions and make them seem relatable at the same time as not cut.
Anyways, so thank you for listening. If you stayed through till this end, I understand this was a very long time, and if you
there's longer podcast audience. Cut. So this was Unnamed Gaming Podcast's first podcast about Deus Ex. If you liked it, subscribe on the podcast app or subscribe
YouTube. I mean, eventually it'll be up on any tube. Cut.
Oh God. Oh God. You must. Okay.
Anyway, so thanks guys for listening. UGP out.
Biotech.